Hi everyone, it's Vicki at Stamp with Vicki. Thanks for joining me today. So for today's cards, we're going to use products from the Snowflake Splendor Suite found in the June to December mini catalog on pages 36 through 38. Most specifically, I'll be using the So Many Snowflakes dies as you can see in the cards. I thought these cards were just simply elegant, I guess is how I would describe them. I have been sort of had it in my mind to challenge myself with a winter themed birthday card, and so this is what I decided on. If you followed my homemade holidays with my friend Judy Clock, you will have seen me demonstrate the black and white one, which we'll do again today. I just kind of wanted to put both cards on one video and just make it a little easier. It's essentially the same card with just, as you can see, a couple of slight differences. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started. So at the end, what I'll do is I will post links to my blog, and there you'll be able to find all the supplies listed and the dimensions for everything. I'll put that under the video in the description. And while I'm thinking of it, I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel and share with some of your crafty friends as I'm trying to grow my YouTube. And then you can click on the little bell to receive notifications when I upload a new video. Okay, let's get started. So we'll do the black one first. And again, here's what we're going to create. Now, I used Whisper White thick cardstock for these projects. When you are using Whisper White for a card base, it's always a better idea to use Whisper White thick. It just holds up better. Whisper White, the regular one, is obviously amazing for so many reasons, and you can still use it for a card base. This is just a little bit tougher and thicker, almost like our regular cardstock. You know, like the Whisper White is a little bit thinner for, I guess, for layering and those sorts of things. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside, and it's the standard card size of 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4 1/4. All right. So how I did this was make a lot of snowflake dies, die cuts. I guess I made about 12 to 14. It kind of just depends on how you have them laid out. And I do try to lay them out on my card ahead of time. I've tacked down the top two, so we're going to go ahead and just start with the remaining snowflakes. How I like to glue them, I think you can see that. I like, oops, that was a lot, just to put a little bit of glue on these bigger parts of the snowflake. I'm going to actually give that one a second, because I just learned the other day from watching a friend of mine that if you leave the Whisper White, or the, excuse me, if you use the multi-purpose liquid glue and you leave it in the air like that, then it will kind of help. So if you use, you get a little too much like I just did, then it will be a little more tacky, and it'll be tackier, and it won't squish out so much like it's about to. Okay. Turn. There we go. See? Look at that little trick. Oh, and to see it did squish out, but just a tiny bit. You just have to let it set for a second. Okay. And in the meantime, you caught me put the other snowflake on. These snowflakes have little edges, but you can get those off. Okay. And you can see like some of them are coming off of the card layer, and that I meant to do that. So it just gives it a more appealing look as you put the card together, and I'll show you how we're just going to cut that down. It's a great little trick, kind of all the way around, I guess. Okay, do that, and then we're coming with this one. There we go. Think I got all of those. And you're just going to want to hold down when you put a snowflake on, if you're using the liquid glue, which I kind of recommend for this. You're just going to hold them down for a second. That's all it takes for it to really adhere, which is nice. slipped. You guys want to hear a funny story? It's funny now, but it wasn't funny 10 minutes ago. So this is the second time I actually filmed this video today. The last time I did it, you know, I did my video, went on, and all was right in the world, except I hadn't changed it on my iPad. I use a program called Switcher Studio, and I hadn't changed it to the live view from the preview. And so when I went to, you know, rewatch the video just to kind of check it, oh, it was black. The whole screen was black and blank. Like, you could hear me talk about it, but you couldn't see. So I had a moment. I went downstairs, had a snack, and here I am on take 2. Oh my goodness. There's always a little something, but I just thought I would share that, especially if there's some of you who I know who are demonstrators out there who probably have done a similar thing. It's not just you. It's all of us. Okay. Keeping it real, folks. Keeping it real. Let me just get this cleaned up at least a little bit. My trash over here. Actually, I think I'm pretty much done with that. All right. So you can see that in and of itself looks really beautiful. And I told you the idea of keeping it just on black cardstock, which you could do, but I really like the idea of how it looked, you know, with a white background. So I'm going to take, excuse me, I forget when I'm on YouTube or on video and make noises. It doesn't really bother me when I'm on my own. Use about 5, I think will be fine, dimensionals to give it just a little bit of a boost. And then I'm going to pull this down just so I can see. I think that's about, there we go. Isn't that pretty? It's so pretty. I'm in love with this card. Just elegant. I have a thing with elegant cards lately. I made one around Halloween that I was super proud of. That doesn't happen all the time. I like my cards, but every now and again you get one you're like, yeah, I really like that. Okay. So I've done this ahead of time. I stamped Happy Birthday in Versamark ink, and I embossed it with our heat tool and white embossing powder. Okay, and so I've taken the Snowflake Splendor ribbon, cut a piece off. I'm going to make a little bow. Really, the biggest difference between these both cards is where a little bit with the colors, of course, but the ribbon and how I place the ribbon on the cards. There we see. I'm just going to pull that just a little bit more. There. All right, I'm going to trim that down. And then I'm going to adhere it just below my, oops, glue dots are over here, just below the sentiment Happy Birthday. All right, and then I am going to, you probably, if you're stamping this at home, you probably could scooch up Happy Birthday a little bit. I don't think it was as low on my last one. Actually, I'm just going to use one. I always grab 2. Use another dimensional and add it to the card, bottom right. So there's just one more thing to do, and that is to add the Elegant Faceted Gems. Hopefully I have enough. I've used them. I have a lot of birthday cards now. Well, that's a good thing. I've made 2, and then I made 2 today. Well, 4 technically, I guess. It's funny. So I used the big clear ones. I really like all of them, but I am super in love with these clear ones. I just love the way they're cut, and I don't know if they're going to carry over, but I sure hope they do. I mean, we have plenty of time with them. They're in the annual catalog, but oh, they're so cool. Got stuck there for a second as to where I wanted to put that. And I did put 5. I feel like I could put another one here, but then it would be an even number, and that would be a like a photography faux pas or something. I don't know. Always work in threes. Well, odd numbers. 3s, 5s, 1. That's it. That's our card. Look at that. Just like that. So you can see the gems. Oh, it's just so pretty. I know I'm admiring my work. All right. So we'll go ahead and work on the second card. So I have already pre-glued this piece here. So I am going to go around and cut off those edges. It should be nice and dry. If I don't remember if I mentioned it. I might have at least alluded to it. Before you glue anything down, just kind of lay the snowflakes on your card layer to get a feel for where they are and where you want them before you actually start gluing. I mean, there's only so much room for error, but just kind of gives you a visual of what your card's going to look like. And I also haven't yet mentioned that this card layer is, the measurements for it, it's 4 by 5 1/4, so just your standard quarter size down layer. And from this card, I stuck with Whisper White thick cardstock for the whole thing. I wanted all the snowflakes on both cards to be sturdy. I wanted, I didn't want them to bend, so there we are. So that was the tip for that. Use Whisper White thick throughout. Get rid of this. Okay. And this fun glitter ribbon, glitter organdy ribbon, I believe it's called. Who knew, like, it would be fun to use this after Halloween? And I've used it a couple times. I really like it. Sometimes I just need to think out of the box. Do you ever kind of just get stuck with, I don't know, what you think it should be, but then if you either see it used outside the box, whatever it might be, or you try something outside the box, you realize, wow, I really love that. It's kind of how I was. So there's how that's going to go. Cute. Let's see if I can pull that down a little bit. This ribbon has a bit of a wire. I might be able to twist it down. I'm going to trim it. Where's my scissors? Such a pretty ribbon. There. That's probably the best bow I've made all day. All right, and so we're going to use the same sentiment. You know what? I got the sentiment, the happy birthday sentiment from the stamp set Here's a Card, and that's actually found in the annual catalog. So I am going to add this one with 2 dimensionals. I am going to use 2 on this one. I'm going to put one at the top and one at the bottom. So then ultimately it's going to straddle the ribbon, and it keeps the ribbon in place. Helps to do that. And then, if you just put one, it can get floppy on the ribbon, or with the ribbon if it's not super tight down to your card. All right, so there we go. I'm going to bring in our card base, and I think I've said 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, standard card size. Again, thick Whisper White. I know I mentioned that. Give it a good burnish. You want to. I'm obsessed with that. Okay, so then we're gonna actually. That's all we're gonna do. We're gonna adhere it with dimensionals again. So I think I'll probably use 5 again. Glue got a cat here. Ooh, that hurt. I have a tray next to my table that right here just to my right, and I just smacked my knuckle. Okay. Get these 2. I'm going to pull the card base in. I'm going to pull it down again so I can see. I think that's okay. And then we're going to stick with the same faceted gems. Only this time I'm going to use the smaller size. I don't know if that I mentioned before. Let's see, just for fun. These are white. Let me use those. white on white. It's like the other ones were clear, and these have a super pretty white shimmer glimmer to them, and it's really sharp. I'll show it to you closer up in a second. I just don't know that you're going to be able to see it on the video, but we'll try. So you can see really the difference between the two cards is with the placement of the ribbon, well, and the color. I don't know. Yeah, it's a little hard to see that shimmer, but trust me, it's there. It's really pretty. Yeah, so that's it. There's our cards. Let me pull the other one back for a sec. Here we go. I've made many of them today. Can't believe I did that. So anyway, hopefully that gave you a good laugh. And remember to check in the description underneath my YouTube video. And I will have lots of contact information, my Facebook page, my Pinterest page, my blog, and everything else you could possibly need to find me. And on my blog, I will make a blog post that shows all the supplies that I used and the dimensions again. So thank you so very much for spending your time with me. And remember to please subscribe to my channel and share the video with your family and friends so they can subscribe too. That would be really great. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.